Welcome to today's Premier Experts, your one-stop shop to find industry experts in a variety of niches. My name is Ray Perez, and I'm a global branding expert. I travel the world speaking to entrepreneurs and business owners, and we've created this show to take advantage of their wealth of knowledge. I interview experts across different fields to learn what has made them become successful. When you interview people from a wide range of industries, those points of views brought together can create massive success for your business. Welcome to today's Premier Experts. I'm your host, Ray Perez, and today our special guest is Dave VanHoose, the world's top sales and closing mentor. But before we get into the interview, we have another edition of $1 Million Mindset. This is where we get the opportunity to ask high-level CEOs what it takes to reach 7 figures and beyond. Check it out.
Hi, I'm Sonya Ottaway, President of Netball America. And Netball America is celebrating its 10-year anniversary this year. And I got involved with Netball America because growing up in Australia, I was lucky enough to be able to play netball every week, and I want to do the same for the American kids here in the United States. So whether you're a for-profit, non-for-profit, whatever your passion is really what drives becoming an entrepreneur. And that's really what Netball America is about now, executives. So we're excited to be doing it, but we really just started with a blank piece of paper, just like other entrepreneurs. And so we were like, how do we do this in a country that's already heavily sports dominated, right? How do we be different? And that's what really you've got to identify as an entrepreneur. Probably one of the tips is, where's the gap or where's the need that you're going to fill? Small business owner or entrepreneur starting up, funds and dollars is really probably one of the things you're focused on, whether it's self-funded, trying to find partners to work with. But probably, one of the mistakes we made along the way was thinking we could do it ourselves. And after how we learned from that was that there is other folks out there who may have similar missions or goals, or maybe a good supplement to what you're doing. So there's a way each other can tap into resources. So what we learned from that was there's folks out there maybe that gives us direct access to girls that have the need that we could provide. So definitely looking at partners and looking at other companies that are already well established and aligning yourselves with them is probably the biggest thing I've learned over the years. One of the things is definitely don't get sucked in by all the day-to-day admin type of things. Try to outsource where you can, because we could literally spend all day just responding to emails, those type of things that detract you from your main goal of growing your business. So that's probably one. And two is really the people around you. You really have to surround yourself with positive people, go-getters, people with a positive outlook on life, because that's one thing I've learned over the years, and we've had some people come and go. But if you have those negative energy suckers, it takes it out from you as a person, but it also takes it from the organization and not giving me the positivity and the energy that I needed to, be successful.
Hello, my friend. This is Ray Perez, global branding expert, inviting you to the Business Growth Bootcamp. This is an event that we do for 3 days in Miami, Florida, for business owners, entrepreneurs, and business professionals who are looking to grow and scale their business. We're going to be talking about branding, marketing, sales, speaking, video, social media, and much, much more. I brought a team of experts from all over the country to come and speak to you and teach you their experiences and their expertise to assist you in growing your business. Now, this is a 3-day event, starting off with day 1 when we talk about mindset. Mindset is the most important part about growing your business and understanding why it's important that we do certain things. Now in day 2, we're gonna be talking about skill set. Skill set is what do we need to do to implement to get those levels of results. And day number 3 is my favorite, implementation day. That's right, this is a boot camp, so we're actually gonna be getting work done for you and your business. So I'm very excited to invite you to the Business Growth Bootcamp. If you want more information, watch the videos below on this page, and I look forward to seeing you at the next upcoming event. Hey my friends, it's Ray Perez, and I'm so excited to be launching my brand new co-author book project. That's right, for the very first time, I'm launching the opportunity for you to be a co-author with me in my brand new book, The Drive to Success. Now, you may be wondering what this book is about, and it's really true life stories of high-performance entrepreneurs who failed their way to success. And me being one of those, I've had a lot of failures in my life, and each time I failed, I became more successful. And I really truly feel that as entrepreneurs, we don't get to hear about people's stories of how they failed, because truly without failure, you're not gonna be successful. I was working out the other day, trying to get back into shape, and I was realizing what bodybuilders do when they're working out is they do repetitions until failure. And the reason is when you hit that failure, that's when the real muscle growth happens. So you can't actually be successful or grow without failure. And that was a huge analogy for me because I've really considered my life and all my clients and people that I work with. And I'm like, it's true. We need to go through failure to achieve success. So I wanted to create a book, The Drive to Success, of what it takes to persevere through that failure and be able to achieve next level success each time. So if you have a story that you'd like to share to inspire other entrepreneurs and small business owners, then I'd love for you to click the link below and apply to be part of our co-author book project. Now, in addition to obviously becoming a published author, you're also going to be a best-selling author because we will be running a bestseller campaign for our new book. In addition to that, you're also going to be part of a podcast, so you get to share your story and use it in that format as well. And you might be thinking, Ray, I don't have the time to write a book, not even if it's just a chapter in a book. Well, guess what? You don't have to write a single word because my team is going to interview you, record the call, and transcribe the entire thing and format it into your chapter in the book. You won't have to write a single word. All you have to do is revise it, make sure it's in your voice, in your language, and that you're happy with it so we can approve it. Now, the other thing is this. We're not just creating a book, we're also creating a whole marketing campaign around it. I'm also launching a podcast called The Drive to Success, which I'll interview you after you write your chapter and to kind of discuss the challenges that you went through, what happened, and how you got to that next level so you can use that into your marketing as well. Now, depending which one of our 3 options you choose, we're also going to do a VIP day right here in Miami, which you're going to get a professional photo shoot with your book. You're also going to get to meet several other co-authors and like-minded entrepreneurs. We're going to spend a great time, and I'm going to teach you how to leverage the power of your book in your marketing. That is my skill set. I'm not a publisher. That's why I partnered with the best, but I am a brander and I am a marketer, and I'm going to teach you how to leverage the most out of this book, unlike any other book, even if you're a published author as well. Now, in addition to that, we have several other benefits that are listed below in our packages. Make sure that you click to apply to get access to everything that's in our book project. And I am just so excited. And here's one thing, you can't just buy your way into this. It doesn't matter how much money you have or if you want to be a part of it, you do need to qualify. And the reason is this. We want to make sure that you have an inspiring story and you really want to make a difference in others' lives. This isn't just a thing about making money. I can do this book project on my own. It's about giving you an opportunity. And we want to make sure that you're properly positioned in a way to leverage what we're doing in this book project. Because we want all 10 authors to be promoting, to give 10 times the amount of exposure to this book than if you were just promoting it on your own. So hopefully you are interested in being part of our new book project. Click the link below and apply, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side.
What I like best about the Inner Circle is that the team of people that you have working and helping pull things out of you allows you to see areas in your life that would probably take you years to find out.
As soon as I was introduced to the concept of Inner Circle, I knew immediately that I wanted to be a part of it. So to be able to have access to that on a weekly basis has been transformational.
it's better than a family. It's somebody that actually understands your background and your where you come from, and everybody wants to go in the same direction.
I love the opportunity to just kind of share my thoughts and get some opinions and feedback from people who have either done it or just to get some outsider feedback to make sure I'm on the right track or to give you some guidance to make those decisions.
They work with you closely, one-on-one, and trying to really help you succeed in all areas, whether it's personal or business, and that could be really applied to your life and career.
We all help each other, and every time we have a meeting with Ray or Dave, they've got a small curriculum, and on top of that, they additionally bring someone else to kind of help us in a different area of our business.
I was a little bit worried, like, is this going to work? Will I be able to commit to this time every single week? You know, is it going to be worth to set aside that much time? We've always maximized our time, and then on top of that, my performance that day and week increased greatly. So, well worth it.
Before I joined the Inner Circle, I really didn't understand what it was all about. I just thought it was a way for somebody to come in and say, hey, you know, we're going to give you something, and you know, you turn over your money and you get no value out of it. And I feel like it's the value is 10x what I expected.
Having coaches and team members that are able to, you know, give you a different perspective of your business just by looking at their business as well.
Having people in your corner to just discuss anything. I take it beyond business. I talk about my personal life. I talk about, you know, things that are concerning me. We talk about business. It's everything that you need to really be clear on what you're trying to do.
The whole curriculum, I believe it's great for anyone that is a business owner, an entrepreneur who's growing a legitimate business.
They create a environment that you can blossom not only personally, but your business.
If you're someone that's in business, you know, a business owner looking to grow your business, looking to get more exposure.
If you're a dreamer, if you think that you were put on this earth to do something amazing, joining the Inner Circle will help you, you know, make those dreams come true.
Hello, my friend, it's Ray Perez, global branding expert, and I have a very special gift for you. If you're an entrepreneur, business owner, or business professional that's looking to scale and grow your business, and I have exactly what you've been looking for. I call this My 360 Sites. I've been working on this for the last 2.5 years to build my brand online, my brand presence, live events, speaking, networking, and social media, and I've been doing it very successfully. And now I want to give you free access. Why? Because I want you to be able to build, launch, and grow a successful business. And when you do that, I really want you to give back, just like I'm doing right now. That's all that you need to do. Now, what can you expect from My 360 Sites? Well, number one, it's going to allow you to network more efficiently. Build trust and credibility with your audience. Allow them to learn more about who you are and what you do. Whether you're an author, speaker, podcaster, or just have a couple websites, this is your opportunity to bring everything in one place and cross-promote who you are. And the best part is, it doesn't make them feel that you're being salesy. Why? Because people love to buy, but they hate to be sold. Now, in addition to this, I also want you to learn how to get the maximum value out of your 360 site. So I'm also giving you access to one of our optimization sessions with my team so they can teach you exactly how to use it in your particular business and how to get the most value. Now, we do have limited spots available, so you must click the button on this page right now and get registered for your free 360 site. Now, at the end of the quick setup, which will only take you 5 minutes, there's gonna be a calendar for you to schedule the best date and time for your optimization session. Please make sure to do that. Why? Because if you don't have an optimization session, it's like having a Ferrari and parking in the garage. You're not gonna really know how to drive it to get the maximum performance. So click the button on this page, get registered, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Welcome back to today's Premier Experts. Next on the show is one of our favorite segments, Small Business, Big Ideas. This is where we travel the country with the Small Business Expo, interviewing attendees and vendors on their thoughts and experiences on a variety of topics.
As a leader, you have your ideas, but what good is a good idea if you can't communicate to your people? So you have to be very succinct, to the point, and be able to communicate your mission, vision, and values so that your people can understand where you want to lead them.
Establishing yourself as a public speaker is critical to growing your business in a scalable fashion. You want to make sure that you're speaking on what I call OPP, other people's platforms, speaking one to many. Instead of building our business one-on-one, which is how relationships are built, a scalable business is built one to many, and being a public speaker opens up more doors that puts you in front of those right stages.
Public speaking can be very uncomfortable for people, and that's why they tend to shy away from it and stay away from it. But anything that causes you to step outside of your comfort zone is actually something that's very helpful and can help you grow a business. If it's something that you do that somebody else doesn't do, then that puts you ahead of them. And public speaking can certainly be along those lines.
Public speaking is the #1 biggest fear ever. So definitely mine, at least. But it's important in today's time because public speaking allows you, one, to communicate what you know to others on a grander scale, versus individually where it takes slower to spread that word and spread that knowledge. Any business owner should try to master public speaking, or at least speaking in larger groups to help further their business.
Highest and fastest earners in any business are using their mouth and using their mind, and so obviously public speaking plays into that mouth tier, and you want to collapse time frames. If you want to make the most amount of money in the least amount of time, become good at public speaking.
Public speaking is extremely important. I took classes in college, and I know that for a lot of people they were the most challenging, and I think that's really common. But it's important because businesses, particularly business owners, they need to be able to express their ideas in the best way to the most amount of people. And they need to come off as confident and like they know what they're talking about, and we can do that through public speaking.
The ability to be able to speak in public is important for a number of reasons. First, most of the new business opportunities that you get into start with a conversation. Those single conversations get you into group conversations. Those groups get you in front of groups of people. Having the ability to lead people through understanding your business and the value that you bring is imperative to growing your business.
Speaking is the highest paid profession. You can make in 1 hour what people take their whole year to make.
Jay,
0. That's our marketplace. And like most businesses, I have got 4 entrepreneurs by South Carolina. Talk to the kids, just want to say hi to Rebecca. If you want to make more money, do more to the world, and have more, and be more, speaking is the ultimate vehicle.
Welcome back to today's Premier Experts. I'm your host, Ray Perez, and today my special guest is Mr. Dave VanHoose, the world's top speaking and sales mentor. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Hey, thank you very much.
I'm so excited that you're finally on the show. We've been after you for quite a while. I've been seeing you tour the world, transforming people's lives, making them rock stars on stage, and I finally have you here, so I'm just so excited.
I am too. This is going to be a great show.
Yes, man. Well, so first, how did you become the top speaking and sales mentor in the world?
That's a great, interesting story. It's interesting because what happened to me is I had to reinvent myself. I was in a professional career and I had a serious injury, so I had to reinvent myself. And I decided to start a business on my credit card. And it was going to help people save time, energy, and money. And I launched this business. Guess how many customers I got the first month?
1.
0. I thought if you had a good idea, customers would show up. So I made the product better. The second month, guess how many customers I got? 0, right? So I figured out, how do you get a customer? And that's when I used the 6-foot rule. You know what the 6-foot rule is?
No, I don't.
anybody within 6 feet from me, I tried to do what?
Sell
them, right? So then I'm thinking, man, this is like rolling a boulder up a mountain. So I'm thinking, wait a minute, there's got to be a better way. And that's when it hit my mind, education-based marketing. Not selling one-to-one, but one-to-many. And that's what I did. I started going out, educating people about my product or service and speaking. And that's how really I started it all.
Well, let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning, because you've had a few different careers until you got to teaching people how to be as good as you on stage. So kind of start from the beginning and catch me up to how you got to where you're at today.
Well, it's very interesting. I grew up in Michigan, and I got my degree in sports medicine. And when I connect the dots backwards, I learned about the body, kinesiology, anatomy, muscle movement, which is really interesting. And then I moved down to Florida. Became a professional football trainer. So I trained professional athletes, got to travel the world. I was on top of the world. And then one day, something extremely bad happened. I'll never forget, I got hurt, and I remember waking up in the hospital. And the doctor came strolling in, and he puts my MRI, my x-ray on the board. And I said, Doc, what's wrong with me? He says, son, he says, you got a broken back. You got a pars fracture L5, S1 with a herniated disc. I'm like, Doc, what does that mean? I'll never forget. He says, son, we've got to do surgery. So long story short, they rushed me in. They cut through my stomach here, and they put a rod in a cage, and they did a spinal fusion. And I woke up after 12 hours of surgery, and I couldn't feel my legs. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And my mind is racing, and I'm in so much fear. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And how am I going to live? And then I said, you know what? I'll figure it out. And I went home in a wheelchair, and the first thing I said, I got to learn how to walk again, right? That's the first thing. So I remember getting the courage up and taking everything I have, and my parents had a pool out back, and I said, if I can just walk around that pool one time, I can learn how to walk again. And that's what I did. That first day I walked around that pool one time, the second day twice, and then I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do? And I was like, you know what? I can't go get a job. I can't sit or stand, so maybe I could start a business, and that's kind of how it all started.
And how old were you when this happened?
Oh, I was probably like 32 years old.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I was devastated, just devastated.
And from there, your first company, Foreclosures Daily.
Yeah.
Tell me, how did that come about?
It's interesting. Like, I had this vision, like I had this idea, and I wanted to start a business. I didn't have any idea. I didn't have any capital, so I took my credit card out, and I started my business on my credit card. And I failed. I didn't know how to get a customer. I didn't know how to run a business. And I kind of like fell forward fast. Because after you start a business on your credit card, you got to pay your credit card out. So I had to figure it out, and that's how I found out about speaking.
And before you became a speaker, you were hiring speakers to come to your events.
Yeah.
And you used to be the guy in the back of the room just watching them, right?
Yes.
So how did that shift happen for you?
Oh my gosh, it's a crazy story. So it's interesting. I'm doing all these, I was a promoter basically. I was filling these seminars, and we'd have speakers come in. And I'll never forget this moment. I'm sitting in my office, and that month, me and my partner, we hit $1 million in sales. And we're in there celebrating. So imagine a picture, we're in there celebrating. We just hit $1 million, you know, and things are going well. Our accountant comes in, Monsieur comes in, he goes, what are you guys doing? I'm like, we're celebrating. Did you look at the number? We hit $1 million. We finally hit $1 million in a month. He says, did you read the P&L statement? I'm like, the P&Who statement? Right? Because I went to sports medicine school. We didn't know about P&Ls. I knew about ACLs and MCLs and these kind of different things. And guess what our profitability was after $1 million? 0. So I didn't.
You guys made $1 million in 1 month.
Yes.
With 0 profitability.
Exactly. So that was a lesson. It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep, right? So I found out real fast our expenses, and I looked at outside speaker, and we were paying our outside speakers 50%, as we know. And so $500,000 was going out as an expense. So my partner's sitting there going, man, we need to have our own speakers. I'm like, yeah. We need to create our own product. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you're the one. I'm like, me? No. I don't want to be the one. First of all, I'm still recovering from back surgery, so I have this full body cast on. And I'm in like, no, I don't want to be the speaker. I'm like, no, you're the one. And I'll never forget that split second as my heart started to race and I started to sweat. And I just had this feeling of anxiety and fear. And I'm like, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. So I said, I know I needed training. I knew there was a system and I knew there was a way, right? So I went to Vegas, learned, I came back, and my partner's like, so Mr. Speaker, how was that speaker training? I'm like, it was good. And they go, oh, by the way. I'm like, what do you mean? So when this is by the way, you know you're in trouble, right? I said, well, they go, we've got your first speaking gig. I'm like, when? They're like, tomorrow. I'm like, oh my gosh, tomorrow? So I remember saying to myself, oh my gosh, like what am I going to do? So the next day I fly up to South Carolina, and my market manager picked me up, and I'll never forget, we pull up to this VFW hall. It's dark and it's gray. And I'm sitting in that car, and my mind starts to race, and it's racing, and I'm thinking to myself, please God, let there be a fire, right? No fire. And I'm like, please let there be a tornado, or a hurricane, something. And I looked up, and David Hans looked at me with these eyes, and he goes, dude, are you going to be okay? You're pitch white. And I'm like, yeah. So I took the courage. I opened the car door, and I walk into the place, and there's like 300 people there.
Wow.
And that's kind of how it started.
First presentation.
That was my first presentation.
Oh, wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I was so nervous. So obviously, I asked him, where's the bathrooms at, right? Yeah. So I'm in the bathroom. I'm so nervous. Imagine this. I'm throwing up. And he comes, he says, Mr. VanHoose, you ready? I'm like, one more, right? And so I'm in the back table, and he's introducing me. And he's saying, in a moment, we're going to bring Mr. Dave VanHoose up. And he came here to share with you and empower you. And today, let's give him a warm welcome. So there's times in life where you have to make decisions. And I had to make a decision. Do I run up on the stage, or do I run out? And I'm telling you, everything in my body was telling me, run away. And I just had that courage. I just took that leap of faith. And I ran up, and I got up on the stage, and I was like, wham. And I started telling my story, sharing my passion. And at the end, I said, everybody get up right now and go to that back table. And they did.
And you made sales.
Right, and
on
I made
the first
sales.
one. That's huge.
Yes. Well, because I watched so many speakers for so many years speaking, I was in the back room, that I saw certain patterns and systems. So it's interesting. The people ran to the back. Guess where I ran?
To the back?
To the bathroom.
To go again.
I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And I'm hiding out in the stall, and I'm waiting for everybody to leave. So I come out of the bathroom. I'm like, okay, fine, I can get out of here, right? Because I'm like, and the promoter goes, hey, where you been? I'm like, how did we do? He says, oh my gosh, Dave. I said, what? You broke the record. And I said, what? And he said, you made $52,000, you broke the record. And man, in that split second, I said, man, I really love this speaking business. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this over and over again to grow my business, to get my message out, and to help more people. And that's what I did. I came back, and I was listening to Tony Robbins. And Tony Robbins says, I wasn't the best speaker in the world, so I spoke twice a day, 5 days a week. So that's what I did. I went out, I started speaking at lunch and at dinner. Testing, what color shirt to wear, what color tie to wear, how do you present, how do you build your presentation, how do you write the offer, and that's how I grew my company Inc. 500.
So at this point, how many presentations have you actually done?
Oh my gosh. The last I took track was over 5,000 presentations.
Wow.
Yeah, lots. So I was speaking every single day, twice a day, losing my voice and growing my business. And I had so much fun. I traveled the world. And even today I go to the airport, people's like, oh my gosh, you're that speaker that came to my little town, and you know what? You changed my life. And that's what it's all about.
Well, you said something earlier, which is very interesting. You said you watched all these different speakers and you picked up these patterns.
Yes.
So that's, I think, in what you teach and the way you teach it is why it makes you the most successful, because you have broken down these patterns into a way that is consumable and digestible and people can duplicate. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. So as a professional football trainer, we used to draft what I call talent and then mechanics. We would draft amazing athletes that had so much talent. But what I found out is talent can win you games, mechanics and systems win you championships. So for me, I didn't have talent as a speaker. I didn't have this natural talent. So I did what I did in football, systems and mechanics. I know there's a certain way to throw a football, to swing a golf club. So that's what I did. I started studying. And what's very interesting in professional football, we study game film. So I studied preachers and infomercials, tape, watching speakers, watching what are they doing, and that's really how I cracked the code.
And what's kind of amazing, like you said, you take this talent and they do certain things, but they're not necessarily aware that they're doing that certain thing. So if you're watching them, you could say, wait a second, when he does this, and then you can put it into a formula, which I've personally never seen any other speaking coach teach this process. And I really love how you break it down, because it's kind of like the elements chart where you have these like honeycombs and you tell them step by step all the sequences of what they need to do. So how did you get it down to such a science?
Well, what's interesting is because as I was speaking every day, I was learning and I was getting better and better. And I just wanted to be the best in the world. That was my mindset, to become the best. And my company bottlenecked because Dave VanHoose could only do 2 presentations 5 days a week before I lost my voice. Yeah. And my company bottlenecked to right around 5 million. So I'm like, how do I duplicate this? And then I remember saying, can I duplicate myself? And I remember my ego going, no, you can't duplicate me. But I thought about, there's got to be a way. I've got to be doing certain things. And that's when I cracked the code. And I hired 25 other speakers, and I trained them exactly what I did, and they got the same result. So that's how that system got created, because my company grew Inc. 500, and we wanted to take it public. So I had to duplicate it like McDonald's. I had to figure out, how do I duplicate that?
And that's how you grew into the speaking trainer, by necessity to grow your internal company.
Yeah. So after I grew my company, foreclosersdaily.com, my passion was to help people get out of their JOBs into what I call their JOYs, to have freedom. And then I asked a bigger question: how can I help more people? And it hit me: help leaders get their message out. If I can impact them, they can impact millions. And there's so many amazing people that have a message inside of them that don't know how to grow their business, that don't know how to get their message out. So that's when I founded a company, one of the biggest training companies in speaking in the world, and I started teaching speakers for the last 10 years of how to get their message out. And that's really how it evolved.
And so what if you're not a speaker? What if you're just an entrepreneur or a business owner, and you got a great product or great service, you got a message for the world? What do you say to them?
Well, it's kind of like Steve Jobs, right? Steve Jobs had a way to influence people, had to communicate his passion, which made him very successful. So if you own a business, you're the spokesperson. You're that person that people are looking to. So mastering the craft of what I call presenting is so important, and so you have the ability to move people and shift people. And I think anybody that owns a business should learn. And it's simple and it's easy to learn, because if I can do it, anybody can do it.
And what I love best about this is it's not just speaking on a stage. The exact same principles, the exact same structure, you can take that and do it on one-on-ones or in smaller groups, right?
It's just communication, right? Learning communication. How do people think? How do people communicate? What moves people? What moves people into action? And that's really what it's all about. Like you said, when I say speaking, it's speaking on a stage, it's doing a webinar, it's doing a podcast, it's doing an interview like this, or even talking to your employees, doing a meeting. You've got to be able to master communication, because communication is the key that I believe to success.
I love it. So let me ask you a little bit more of a personal question.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So you said you broke 50,000 in your first presentation.
Yes.
What's the highest you've ever done?
Oh my gosh. I was speaking one time, it was in Canada, and I flew up there, and it was the first time that I had an opportunity to speak at a big conference. And what's really interesting is because I was doing my own seminars. I would market, do my own events, and speak at my own events. And so I never spoke at anybody else's events. I never knew you really could do this in the beginning. So I convinced this guy to let me speak at a seminar. He had 2,000 people there.
Wow.
And I'll never forget. So I fly up there, and I see this show. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm speaking on Sunday, and I'm so nervous. And I saw one of this famous speakers get on stage, and I saw him bomb. I saw him really not, do good. I'm like, oh my gosh, if he can't do it, what am I going to do? And he was selling a product for $50. My product was $7,000. So I'm like, oh my gosh. But long story short, I got up on that stage, and by this time, I did my presentation thousands and thousands of times. So I had it down. And I got up on that stage, and I got in my rhythm, and I was doing it. And I looked around at the end. I said, now, for the first 500 people that get up right now and go to that back table. And literally out of the 2,000 people, like 800 people ran back at $7,000. The rush, I mean, it was crazy. People were running back there to buy my product, and it was a rush. So that was my biggest day ever.
And would you share that number?
It was, well, you just take 800 people times $7,000. It was a nice
Wow.
Nice check.
Wow.
So what's really interesting is I want to share this with people. People don't know. Speaking is the highest paid profession. You know, this is why Richard Branson, this is why Tony Robbins and these people speak. Why? Because in 1 hour, you can make in 1 hour what people take their whole year to make.
Wow.
And what's interesting, in 1 year, I made what people take a whole lifetime. So it's what I call the ultimate leverage. So if you want to make more money, do more to the world, and have more, and be more, speaking is the ultimate vehicle.
That's right. And I always say in personal branding and marketing, like you said, you are the spokesperson for your business. And if you're out there and you're promoting what it is that you're passionate about and you're selling to the world, there is no better way to get it out there than the power of public speaking.
I mean, for me, I cracked the code. It took my company Inc. 500. Imagine this. I started my company on my credit card. In 3 years, made Inc. 500 as the 35th fastest growing company on one strategy. It was education-based marketing, inviting people to come to learn, do a presentation, and then they became a customer. And I just rinsed and repeat and went to city to city to city all across the United States, and that's exactly how I made Inc. 500.
I love how you position that. So for those out there that are scared of speaking, education-based marketing.
Yes.
Building
value first, that's the key.
And speaking is just the vehicle, but what you're really doing is you're educating, you're building value, you're building trust and connection, and you can make a heck more sales in a shorter amount of time than you ever have before.
Absolutely. Instead of trying to get the sale, build value first.
People
want to be, educated. They want to be entertained. And the beautiful thing about speaking is people want an emotional experience, and that's what you can create when you have the perfect pitch.
Well, I absolutely love it. You are amazing, Dave. I know you're doing workshops, you're doing events all over the place. If people want to connect with you, learn more how they can attend some of your events, how do they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody's looking to grow their business, get their message out, get more customers, more cash flow, and help more people, because to me, my passion is really clear. I'm here to empower leaders to empower the world. And only if people are looking to change the world, to make the world a better place. So for me, I don't want to work with everybody. So if they're hearing this message, they're excited about speaker, and they want to be trained by me, I don't work with everybody. Yeah. Meaning, I want to know their heart. I want to know what their intention is. So if you're somebody who has that heart and you want to make the world a better place, you could go to davev360.com. That's where you could go to me. All my social medias on your beautiful platform, which I love, which is absolutely amazing. So if you haven't seen Ray Perez's beautiful marketing and branding he's absolutely genius, and his system is what I've been using. So davev360.com. All my social media platforms. You can hit me up. Let me know how I can help you. If you're looking to speak on bigger stages, more stages, get your message out, or learn how to speak, hit me up there and I'll make sure that I help you.
Well, you are definitely the best in class. Everything that you do, not only in what you teach, but what you deliver, and the results that I've seen your students have is just phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it. So such an honor and privilege to have you on the show. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us. My name is Ray Perez, reminding you to never leave for tomorrow what you can do today, and always stay true to your brand. If you or anyone you know is an expert in a particular niche or industry, we would love to have a conversation about potentially being on the show. Just visit todayspremierexperts.com, click on Be a Guest, and fill out the form.